right, boys and girls, it's time for another holiday story. Twas the night before Christmas, and all through the D, Jim Caldwell wasn't worried about the playoffs, you see.
All I'm worried about is Cincinnati, Cincinnati, and Cincinnati. That's it.
The banners were hung up in Ford Field with care, in hopes of a home playoff game that still isn't there. The Lions have traveled to the Queen City to play in a game they should win against the lowly Bengals, they say. A cheer for the Falcons and the Panthers to fail, so hopes of sneaking into the playoffs can sail. As Stafford goes to the air, it's to Jones down the seam. A touchdown it is. Oh boy, what a dream. The Lions will win it and still be behind, or even win out and miss the playoffs. You'll whine. Talks of the draft pick will take over the den in hopes that Bob Quinn knows better than to draft Ebron at 10. Yet the season is still giving plenty to crave. Now enjoy your Christmas Eve game. Now let's start the cave. Good Merry Christmas Eve to you all. Welcome inside the Suburban Ford 7 Sports Cave. I'm your host, Justin Rose, and joined today by the Beards. I like to call it the Beard Show. Rico Beard from 92.1 Lansing, and Rod Beard from the Detroit News, Pistons beat writer, and both of you just look phenomenal on this Christmas Eve day. Thank you very much to uglychristmassweaters.com for hooking up.
I hate you, Justin.
You look great, Rico. Look at that.
I feel like I'm stealing Campy's swag a little bit.
But you're not the...
Stop touching my sweater. I'm going to tell Mom.
This is the only time in life you get to say that. Stop
touching me. Stop touching me. This is what life was like. Stop touching me. I'm sorry.
We look great.
I don't want to hijack your show.
Mine's got the Calvin Johnson on the back. You know, they're really throwing it back old school with this one. But I hope you guys enjoyed my holiday rendition of "Twas the Night Before Christmas." Worked very hard on that. Little snarky in there. I thought the best line was the Eric Ebron at 10.
Yeah, that was a mistake then, and.
Mistake that keeps
on giving. It's a mistake now, yeah.
Well, mistake that keeps giving.
I remember being told he was an offensive weapon and he was going to revolutionize. He's your Gronk. He's this. He's okay, and he's not really. I can't see him even. He's going to pull a Sue and be out of here the second he can.
But in fairness, a guy that has all of that pressure on him at tight end, being selected at 10, that's almost unprecedented.
Yeah, that
you just don't see that happening very often, and he's starting to catch the ball now that people expected that. It's a little late, and you can't turn public opinion.
I mean, I'm glad it was like no one good who got picked it after him, like an Aaron Donald or something like that.
No, you didn't need that.
Right. You didn't need that because Sue was going to still be here. Matter of fact, I think Sue's going to get like 3 sets. Wait, he's not here, is he?
No. You heard anything from him since he left, though?
No.
Oh, there you go.
One episode, I think he tried to bite a guy or something. Yeah, stepped on her.
But
as far as his play on the field, no, I don't miss him.
Coaches leave after the Lions and don't do very much. Sue left, not doing very much. Yeah. You didn't need to pay him all that money.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, he gets the Alvin Harper Award.
There you go.
The guy that thought you were going to tear it up on your next team, and
no.
Smoking Jay Cutler. What a great pickup. All right, we got lots to talk about over the next half an hour or so, hoping to help you kick off your Christmas Eve day plans. So we're going to talk Lions, we're going to talk Pistons, and we have a special treat for you guys at the end of the show, gifts we're going to give to the sports fans of 2018, as well as a contest that you can actually win some tangible stuff. So stick around for that a little bit later. At any point during the show, you want to get involved in the conversation, use the hashtag 7SportsCave. We'll get to those later on in the show. But today, Bengals, Lions. I know there was some games yesterday with the Packers and the Vikings playing last night, and the Colts and the Ravens, which was a real barn burner of some two teams. But look, you look at this one, and we're getting to the point of the season. We know what the Lions have to do. They have to win out, and we're just now kind of waiting and watching everybody else lose. Are you guys interested in today's game against the Bengals? That they really should beat that team badly.
Should is the key thing. I mean, I guess you're wondering if they go same old Lions, but honestly, unless you're a diehard fan, it's almost like a punch in the gut because no matter what, it's not going to help you.
Right. Well, it is going to help you in the sense that
it strings you along. It strings you along for another week.
Well, no, it's more like me in college trying to write a paper. You've got a season to make the playoffs and to get your wins, and they waited till the last minute to make sure that they got it done. So now they need help in order to make sure that it gets done. So if it's not starting out 5-1 and then not doing it at the end, it is starting out very mediocre, and then you need a lot of help to get there. So you keep people engaged and involved. But, I mean, what happens if you win both of these games and you still don't make the playoffs?
Yeah, I think that's what you're looking at is you look at all those losses that they had over the season. You go back to Atlanta, you go back to Pittsburgh, and you just start saying, my God, what if this was the year you went on the road and you won in Green Bay and you did all this stuff and you still have nothing to show
The
for
refs
it,
killed us,
possibly.
this call killed us, something killed us. And coaches always talk about you don't live with that regret. You don't want to get into situations where one play or one game kills you. You worry about the next game. Well, if you get to 10-6 and you don't make the playoffs, you're going to look back at a lot of situations where you could have made the playoffs.
I think you look back to the Atlanta game.
Yeah.
Well,
And you look back to the 10-second runoff.
That's the one that's going to be the lionized moment, if you will. And it's who would have thought? I mean, in conversations I've had with people, how can you lose the game when the referee stopped the clock and then they say, oh, okay, well, 10-second runoff.
Our bad.
Like, yeah, you shouldn't be penalized for that. That rule might be looked at, evaluated in the offseason. It's another one of those Calvin Johnson rules. We saw that come back into play with the Steelers and the Patriots the other day. So the Lions always seem to be in the thick of those conversations when it comes to
the new rule. It's
the new rules.
everything is a new Lion rule. It's just, hey, we did this. Everybody calls it the Calvin rule or the process rule. It is a Lions rule.
I would like for the referees just to have the ability to use their judgment and to say, you know what, we're going to go with either the spirit of the law or we're going to go with this because this situation, I know the rule says this, but we understand. I would love for that to happen.
You know, we didn't even have refereeing in the rundown today to talk about. But
I'm sorry, man.
No.
It's this dog.
It's this dog. No, but it brings up, you touched the sweater again.
I know.
It brings up that conversation. We had the index card last week. Between, what was that for? There was no reason. There's nothing in the rule book that says you need to
Territory will get
do.
a contract with an index card. So that's going to be in his commercial.
Yeah, absolutely. It gets to the point where I think that, when are we going to eliminate referees in this sport? Because we should have a laser that's
But now it's
10.
going to be, they're going to take a very good look at a lot of these rules because there's that confusion about what a catch is. There's a confusion about what targeting actually is. And the players are saying, we start out, and the game goes so fast that we start out making a clean hit, but a guy moves a couple of inches and all of a sudden it's targeting. You can't judge intent even with replay.
And that's why I think that the referee, first of all, I mean, it's a cliche, but I do think that the referees should be year round. You make $1 billion.
Make them a full-time job.
Your full-time job.
Yeah.
You have to go through classes. You got to go through training. You got to do courses. You got to be in shape. You got to do a lot of stuff so that you're not coming up slow to the line with the ball while the clock is ticking. But and I think you also should be able to use your judgment to say, guys, that wasn't targeting because at the last second the runner dropped his shoulder. Because when you went to hit him, you were going to hit him right in the strike zone. But if I drop my head, now I hit you in the face mask, and I'm the bad guy.
But there's a fine line between having something like the Jetsons where you got robots all over the place and everything is fine-tuned, and having it be a watchable product. It's already bad enough when every play, every touchdown, every score has to be confirmed. And you have to stop and make sure you can celebrate for a second and then you can't because you turn around and it's different.
I honestly think that, you know what, we need to maybe go back to less is more, where you can't do all the replay. Back in the day, if it was a bad call, you just lived with it and you moved on. Now it's like, well, it's a first down, players under review. Okay, now it's another first down, players under review. Touchdown, it's under review.
But here's what happened last night in the Packers game. Third down, he gets right to the line. They move the sticks, and then they change it on the down box to a first down, and it was fourth down because he didn't make it. So that's a human error, and they went for it, missed it, and it was fourth down, and they had to punt. So that's a human error thing that if you just slow this thing down a little bit and make sure you get all of the stuff right, I think that's in the spirit of the matter. That's what everybody wants, is just to get it right.
That's why we've got too many replays, though. It's the fine line between let's just get it right, but at the same time, when do you say let's get it right without reviewing every single play, every single close call, instead of just going with, hey, the judgment is the judgment, we're going with this.
Robots.
Or the fact that you watch it and everybody sees that it should be changed and they still come back and say, nope, play stands as call. What? What did we just wait 5 minutes
right.
for?
And what are you seeing differently? Because they always say, oh, we have all these extra camera angles that are different and what have you.
Yeah.
That's what I got to say about that. So, Lions today, Bengals, again, what's your watching point if you are watching it? This is great.
I mean, just to make sure that they win this game, because if they don't, you'll hear the fire Caldwell very, very loudly.
And I think that's the point I was maybe trying to squeeze out of you here is you expect the Lions to go on the road today. You expect them to win the game because you want to keep that hope that, hey, you know, Atlanta's got to lose this game today. Look, Atlanta's got a tough road. They're in New Orleans today against the Saint team that looks like they're going to be winning the division or they're in the playing for the division of the South. Then they got to go and play Carolina the last week of the season. So by no means is Atlanta completely playing some rollovers here. So there is still that hope.
Atlanta loses today. Detroit has the opportunity to clinch a playoff spot next week. You think they go in and do that? I mean, we've been snake bitten enough that we just understand something's going to go wrong. Lucy's going to pull that ball back one more time, and you're just going to flip in the air. It's not
Aaron
that simple.
Rodgers decides, you know what?
Let me come
I'm going to
back.
play in this game.
No, he's on the injury reserve. You can't.
Well, that's do you guys hear about the injured reserve thing and how teams are complaining about him going back on injured reserve and how that's not, he should be cut and released and other teams should be able to sign him. Oh, Adam Schefter, come on, man! It's Christmas Eve. Just let us, relax here.
Let us live.
Let us live here. All right, we're going to come back right after this quick break here. We're going to talk about National Signing Day. Usually that's in February, but it was a whole lot earlier. Good for college football, bad for college football, indifferent for college football. We'll take a couple of takes from these guys. Keep touching the sweater. I like that. Hashtag 7Sportscave coming up a little bit later. We'll get to your tweets as well. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back on the Suburban Ford 7 Sportscave. Good Christmas Eve morning to you all. Welcome back to the Suburban Ford 7 Sports Cave. Rico, will you just swivel just a little bit this way so everyone can see the back half of that?
There's a backside.
It is.
I'm not touching the backside, but
This is phenomenal. Thank you once again, uglychristmassweaters.com, for hooking Rico up. Look at how happy he is. Oh, there. Look at this. This is Christmas joy.
Christmas time is here.
Christmas joy. This is the last time I get you a present, man. Come on, man. Right in my face.
Oh, I got you a present coming.
Oh, boy.
I got you a present.
How about some presents for Michigan and Michigan State fans? Early signing day. That's what we call a segue in the biz.
Oh,
Segu.
He's a pro.
He's a Segu.
Look, I think I'm all for the early signing period. It gets rid of that whole let's flip recruits because, look, teams are focused on the bowl games. And let me start by saying I was down at the Quick Lane Bowl on Saturday yesterday. I talked to David Cutcliffe from Duke, and I talked to Northern Illinois' coach as well, Rod
Beard.
I wish it was Rod Beard. Wish it was. But I talked to both of those guys, and I asked them both, hey, did you guys like the early signing period? And both of them said yes and no. One was, we like to be busy this time of year because we're preparing for a bowl game. That's good news. We don't like to be busy with traveling for recruiting purposes while we're trying to prepare for the bowl game. But at the same time, both schools said, yeah, all of our commits, We're committed since June, and we just signed it, and it was just the formality of the business. This is kind of somewhere in your wheelhouse with what you do with Spartan Mag and covering recruiting. Do you like it, and is it good for college football as a whole?
I think it's good for college football as a whole if you're one of the teams 11 and under. The top 10 teams used to cherry pick, and they would go after the best players that other schools had. But now, if you lock those players up, they're actually forced to do work early. Alabama right now doesn't have the top class because they normally would get that player from Michigan State, or they would get that player from such and such. They would come in and say, don't you want to come play for Bama?
Right.
We just want another title.
Right.
Don't you want to get a part of this? Now, the coaches have to do their homework sooner. So I think it's going to, over time, you're going to see a lot more parity in college football, where the top just won't keep getting fat and sassy. Everybody's going to feed. Now, it's pluses and minuses with this because like MSU flipped the Dow twins.
Right.
And look how pivotal they've been to the success of the season this year.
Mm-hmm.
Those two would have been playing at Kentucky right now if this rule were taking place.
Yeah,
no, they were. They were headed to Kentucky till about 3 days before signing day, and then Blackwell flipped them and got them to come to state.
Let's take a look at the Michigan class first and foremost here. They had some nice players here. Aiden Hutchinson, Cameron McGrone, Joe Milton. He'll be an interesting one with the new addition of Shea Patterson.
Early enrollee, too.
Early enrollee as well. Mustafa Muhammad and Jalen Mayfield out of Grand Rapids, I believe. Michigan State, meanwhile, they also pulled up some nice recruits as well. Let's pull up that full screen as well. Kalen Gervin, kid from Cass Tech, very good lockdown defensive back. Xavier Henderson, another one of those type of back to the no-fly zone, maybe. Theo Day, the quarterback. Darius Jefferson, big athlete out of Muskegon, and Chase Klein. Look, I love the early signing period for one reason and one reason alone. It calms the recruiting talk down.
Absolutely.
And I'm so tired of recruiting wars and victories in the offseason for teams. Look, get the kids that you want, identify what you need in the program, and go get them. And that's it.
Now, what's going to happen is kind of like in college basketball, where the top are going to wait and go to their second signing period. You're going to have those top 25 players who are going to still pull out the cap at the Army game and say, I'm going here, or the Under Armour game, I'm going here, or the signing day special on different shows. So that'll still happen, but the majority of the kids, they know where they want to go. You said you want them. And I think like D'Antonio pretty much said, guys, if you don't commit to me, on the
your
20th,
spot is gone.
Your spot's open.
Yeah, and no guarantees there. And I think that's what makes it a little bit easier is you don't have to stretch that out, and it gives some peace of mind to the kids who do commit.
You got to be serious.
Early. Yeah.
Both players, coaches have to be serious about this.
Absolutely. I like it. I'm a big proponent of it. What do you think, though? We want to hear from you about this and other things. So far, the tweets I'm getting in is, why is your sweater so ugly? Other than those great tweets, we'll get to more of them. Use the hashtag 7Sportscave coming up after the break. Ask the analysts here. You made 3 of these. You better not let anybody down.
Oh, let everybody down.
The pressure is too big. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the Suburban Ford 7 Sportscave. We're not letting Scrooges ruin our day today. No, no, no. So hopefully the tweets I'm about to read using the hashtag 7 Sportscave are kind, merry and bright, if you will.
By the way, he made it in the break. I recorded it.
Wait, he missed it 3 times.
Right, and he actually made it in the break.
There we go. Wow. In and out.
He missed it again. All right, let's get to this is great. Thank you, Mike Smith, for being very festive on this one. Is it wrong to regift presents? Got Wings and Pistons tickets, but don't want them.
No.
It is not wrong.
No, it is not.
wrong.
I mean, sometimes if another person is genuinely going to be happy with that and you're not, then let a person
go.
be happy.
I'm with that.
Spread the joy, man.
That's right. That's a good one. That's a good
There are
one.
people who don't get to go to games very often. You gift them something, they think you're the greatest person in
We
the world.
haven't talked much about the Pistons yet. We'll probably get to it, but I mean, they're leveling out, right?
They're leveling out, but they're still better than people expected them to be.
Well, I'll take that. I think fans could take that too. Little Caesars Arena, you know, if you get down there and spend all that money down there, not a bad show. Tyler gets in this morning with who needs a bowl game win more, Michigan State or Michigan? What do you guys think?
I'm going to go with Michigan, simply for the fact Michigan State has already flipped their season.
Yeah.
No matter what they do now, it's house money. So, you know, you're 9-3. If you go 9-4, you were 3-9 last year. Michigan, I don't think you want another late season slide like you had last year. If Michigan wins, and they should, because South Carolina's god awful, you can at least build on that momentum.
Well, they need it because there are questions to be answered at quarterback. I mean, you can't.
I mean,
you
does
can't,
Brandon Peters take the job?
You shouldn't put your eggs in the Shea Patterson basket, but I mean, or there's going to be some quarterback savior down the road somewhere, and that's where Michigan fans' minds tend to be all the time. Is the future? The future.
I remember
never the
when Shea
present.
Patterson was once called John O'Corn.
Okay. All right.
Here's a good tweet. I think that in the holiday spirit, Ray, our constant supporter, Ray, thanks for getting back, bud. The Ghost of Christmas Past gave you the chance to change a loss from Detroit sports past. Any sports past loss, which one would you change?
Oh, it's easy for me, but go ahead. I'll let you go first.
I would change the Chris Webber timeout.
Okay, for the Michigan
For
Fab Five.
because they needed something, some kind of championship to cement their legacy as being a good team. And it would have got wiped out anyway, so it didn't matter. But it is just something there, so it's not just this fabled team.
Okay.
I get one. My honorary mention is that Michigan State doesn't lose to Middle Tennessee, because I think they could have won the national title that year. But if I have to, Rasheed Wallace.
I was going to say,
You see, Robert Ory,
Yeah.
don't leave your man.
Leave your man.
don't leave your wingman.
And we're looking at back-to-back titles for that team. But I would also say if they didn't lose to Middle Tennessee. That just ruined all my plans. Like, I didn't even go because I'm like,
You were ready to go.
right, I was all set for Chicago the next weekend.
Cancel.
What? It wasn't until 50 seconds left into the game that I said, they're not going to win.
Yeah. Not good. Real quick, mine, Michigan State, Notre Dame, the year they went to the Rose Bowl. They would have played for a national championship, and I think
Natty.
they might have been able to win it
The
that
Natty.
year. Connor Cooking Company. That defense was nasty that year. All right, coming up next, though, our gifts to you. Also, a special contest where you can win some tickets to get down to Little Caesars Arena for free. Make sure you stay with us here on the Suburban 47 Sportscave.
Where'd it
no
go?
ball left to
Where'd it
shoot.
go?
Isn't here.
It's behind
Hey,
you.
Rod.
Ah, we're running
Rod.
out of time.
Rod,
We'll be right back.
right here.
Welcome back to the Suburban Ford 7 Sportscave Christmas Eve edition. If you want to go to Little Caesars Arena on the 1st and 2nd of 2018, I got tickets for you. Go to WXYZ.com/contests. Enter a chance to win GLI, College Hockey at the Joe. Michigan and Michigan State will both be there. You get 8 lower bowl tickets to each day and a first intermission Zamboni ride, which, of course, get down on the ice, get out there. Free tickets, WXYZ.com/contest. All right, it's time. Every year we like to do this during this episode. We give away gifts to sports fans for 2018. So without further ado, Rico, give your gift.
Well, as you see, the box is Honolulu blue and silver ribbon. This is for you, Lions fans. I want you to have this gift. My gift to you, inside this box, it's hope. Hope for what? Hope that in this year's NFL draft, Saquon Barkley is sitting there for you to draft. Now, I don't know how this has to happen. I don't know if he has to run a slow 40 time. It doesn't matter. If Saquon Barkley is there, you take him, you have a running back, you have a running game, and maybe, just maybe, we're talking playoffs next year.
You got 20 seconds, Rod.
20 seconds? Okay, I will unwrap it. I will give for Jim Harbaugh, start writing, because you're going to get a win over both of your rivals, Michigan State and Ohio State.
Next year.
Next year. There you go.
There it is. Thank you so much. This is more fun than Christmas at the Nobles. I'll tell you what. Rico, Rod, have a great day.